CJ, does Kentucky have the horses? And did they prove anything on Saturday that would make you believe that this group can actually go out there and compete with the likes of Auburn and Tennessee for an SEC championship?
I mean, they won a home game against a team that's went out like 6-4. I know you guys crowned them national champs in the preseason, but I don't know that win was anything to write home about. But I'll tell you what, I think
in sweatsuits and I got on the floor, CJ. Louisville does.
Nah,
they're hurt.
Actually,
they're
you know what?
Baby.
You know what? I love the point guard for the Cardinals. So he's doing a nice job. But yeah. I love Chucky Hupper. But and I think Louisville's going to be all right. I think they might be one of the better ACC teams, which is again not that impressive.
If they were healthy, I would agree with you. I'm not agreeing with you.
Yeah,
I don't think they're good if they're not super healthy. Right now,
they could maybe finish top 5. They could maybe finish.
They're not shooting it worth a piss. No, there's 18 teams in the league. There's no way they're top 5. I think.
I mean, they're not 18 good ones.
But there's 8.
They might be top 5.
I don't think they're there.
All right, forget about that. Yesterday, whatever. I'll tell you, the win that impressed me was beating Gonzaga without Butler. I think Lamont Butler might be their most important player. I was looking up today that they score 1.31 points per possession with him on the floor. And I think that my concern with Kentucky going into the season was, did they have a breakdown guard? They have somebody who could get into the paint when a possession breaks down. Now, they don't really have to get into the paint late clock because they shoot it pretty damn early. He's awesome in transition. He takes away the other team's point guard. He's their best defender. I think Lamont Butler is their most important player. So the fact that they beat Gonzaga without that dude, that win really impressed me. I don't know if they're quite on the tier of some of these top teams, but they're pretty dang good. Now, here's the thing. My one hesitation with Kentucky is I feel like to win a national championship, you usually need 3 NBA players. I think if you go back through the years, everybody's probably got 3 NBA players. Can we find 3 NBA players on Kentucky's roster? Not hating on what they've done. I think they're talented. I think they built this roster really, really well.
I think they have 3 potential. I think they have 3 potential guys. I don't think they have 3 locked in guys. And when I say 3, I think Amari Williams has a shot because he's freaking huge. He's listed at 6'10", 262. Don't agree. He's bigger than that. Otega Oweh has a legit shot. A little bit of a funky jumper, listed at 6'4", taller than that, looks huge on the floor. I think he's got a shot. And then Kobe Bray, anybody who shoots 50% from 3's got a shot.
Maybe. And they've got like 5 dudes that I would say got a shot. I even think Butler couldn't even sneak in because he's intangible type guy. You know,
I could see him playing for I could see him playing for Real Madrid for 10 years.
But usually you got like a real dude to win a national title. I'm not sure they have that, but with Amari, I feel like he controls their ceiling, and for them to be in that top tier, I feel like he's got to finish better around the rim. He's got to be a little more efficient, consistent around there. But I do really like this team and how it's put together and the pieces fit.
I want to ask both you guys this, and Tio, you go first, and CJ, I also want your opinion. Why is Lamont Butler that important? Like, why is he a guy? We talk about what he can be defensively. We know what he was when he was at San Diego State, and he was like I don't want to call it. I feel like a glue guy is probably a little disrespectful.
He's Mount West Defensive Player of the Year 2 years in a row.
Yeah, but you think of him as a defensive piece, and as like CJ just referenced, they average 1.31 points per possession with him on the floor. Like, what makes him so valuable? Why does stuff work when he's out there?
Was that just with him on the floor against Louisville?
That's just with him on the floor overall, full season.
Oh, overall. I was about to say, well, it helps when you go 10 for 10 from the field and just don't miss a shot. That helps. I think the thing that's changed is he doesn't freaking turn the ball over. Like, he's not going to turn the ball over. He's so sound. He's so solid. And guys just know where to find him whenever they're in a little bit of a panic. Like, what's the term? Settle down guy. Big settle down guy. That's what I'm a fan of. I think he can certainly do that. And he's the best defensive guard in college basketball. There's a couple of others that can be thrown in the mix. There's a couple of others. And you guys are going to think I'm crazy for saying. I think Jaden Zachary at Clemson has a shot to be kind of thrown in the mix there defensively. Lamont Butler is there. I think Otega Oweh is awesome defensively. But you look at what he's been able to do shooting the basketball this season. That's been the biggest differentiator so far. And it's just been the quality of shot he's been able to find under Mark Pope. So throw in the fact that Kentucky leans on him just to get things moving, and the fact that he's knocking down shots. So now defenses have to respect him. I said it before the season. You said you love how the pieces fit together. I was on that train right at the beginning. And it's just, they have a bunch of superstars in their role. Like Andrew Carr's a terrific piece too. Like that's kind of what makes this team fit so well. Now they are going to have an off night or two, but it's not going to happen all that often because it can be a different guy every night. And that's what makes this team so dangerous. But as far as Lamont's concerned, that he's always going to be there. When I mean that is, what he's going to be defensively. He never has a night off defensively. And then if he just doesn't turn the ball over, at least guys can rely on him on that end of the floor.
CJ?
I love him because there's not a selfish bone in his body. Like he always makes the right play. They play faster when he's out there because he's willing to pitch it ahead. And then also he just puts so much pressure on your defense in the initial break, because if there's an open floor, he's going to find a way to get paint, and then he's going to come to a jump stop, and the defense is all going to collapse. And he's had several times this year in big games, gets to the paint in transition, jump stops, turns around and dishes it to the guy that's trailing. So I just think he puts with his, and he's such a good cutter too. Like he's such a great fit in that offense because he's almost like a really good slot receiver, to where he's going to find a way to get open. And when he's cutting to the basket, like I swear there were 5 times last night or yesterday where he made a cut and he was open and their guys just didn't pass it because they were probably surprised he was able to get separation off that cut. I just think he's really, really good in his role. And they're just a better team when he's out there. Because, like, let's be honest, like last week they play Gonzaga, and I know Kerr's hurt, and Kerr's great off the bench. Like he's a great off the bench guy, but Gonzaga was just picking on Kerr all night. And credit to Mark Pope for figuring out a way to make it so they couldn't pick on him by going to that 1-3-1 turns into a man defense. I mean, that saved the game. But you don't have to like go gimmicky when Lamont's out there, because he's going to guard the best perimeter player, going to guard the other point guard, and he can shut him down. But offensively, I don't remember him being this good at San Diego State. Like I think he's taken a step there. And the fact that he doesn't have to dominate the ball, he's going to make all the right plays. He's super unselfish. I just think he's their most important player. And it's hard to pick a most important player on this team because, like we said, it can be a different guy every night. But to me, he's the one that kind of keeps it all together.
You know why I think Kentucky can win the national championship is because some of the guys we've been mentioning, I think they can. Some of the guys we've been mentioning are arguably the best defensive players at their position in college basketball. Like you can make a legit case.
Would you say Amari too?
I would say Amari is a legitimate case to be the best defensive 5-man in college basketball. Legitimate case. Otega Oweh, one of the best wing defenders in college basketball. A legitimate case. Lamont Butler, same case. Again, lead guard defender. Like that's why I feel like Kentucky has a chance to string together 6 in a row. But just because we know the type of defense that they're going to be able to play, and when their games fit together so well on the other end, like you don't necessarily have to score 90 points to beat somebody on a given night. You can score 65 and win by 10. That's how good this defense can be if they're locked in on a certain night. And you know that Pope's going to be able to scout them.
You seen JoJo Tugler play? The 5-man defensively, that dude's different.
Okay.
I mean, we could argue.
I'm still on. I still think, like, when Amari Williams transferred, I had a head coach at CAA tell me, he's like, that dude's a cheat code. And there's not many like him, not just in this league, but in the entire country. He ends up transferring. He ends up transferring.
Like I said, I think he is the one that if he is playing at a high level, he can take them to another tier.
Agreed. Mm-hmm.